The first principle, and the one I'm going to talk about today, is the principle is hope. And the message is dream big dreams. Dream big dreams. Dream big dreams for yourself and dream big dreams for your family. Dream big dreams for the community around you. And for a lot of people like yourself and a lot of people out there, they say, you know what, Joe, I get that, but I've been dreaming my whole life. Like, how does a dream mean anything? What do I have to do? Well, I kind of broke down the dreaming process and I said, you know, all dreams start in our imagination. Where humanity starts when the dreaming process is in imagination. We have big thoughts, we have big ideas, we have big things we want to do in life. That's where our humanity starts. Well, every once in a while, you can have 50 dreams. But then every once in a while, there's a thing that just sticks with you. It's there in the morning. It's there in the afternoon. It's there when you're in the shower. It's there when you're in the car. And in my view, what I see that as happening is our imagination then goes to our inspiration. Well, inspiration is a position of divinity, not humanity. Each one of us, they say, God's inside of us, right? Well, how God's talking to us? I used to say, write me a letter, God, to write it out. My father used to say that. My father used to say, just write me a letter, I'll do what you need, you know? And I was like, well, God didn't write me letters. God gave me inspirations. And from that position of inspiration, then, you know, it stuck with me. Now, inspirations that stay inside are no value to the world. Les Brown is quoted by saying, one of the favorite quotes I heard him say, and I'm paraphrasing completely. Les Brown said, the cemeteries of the world are the most abundant place on the planet because people live and they die, never sharing their inspirations. And he was a man I used to just love to listen to. You remind me a lot of him. And I realized then, well, how do you go from inspiration to creation? Next phase is creation. I have all these big dreams. Then I have this solid inspiration. But I got 9,000 voices over here telling me, you can't do that. No one's going to read your book. What? Why would they listen to you? You're a drug addict. You're a drunk. You're not nice. No one likes. I was like, how am I ever going to get past that? And that's where I learned to write out those voices. My message is give a voice to your darkest places. Once it's out of you, it cuts the power in half. And you ask for help. You ask. So I would say, okay, I need help here because my voices are winning. I've got these ideas. I've got these things. So what happened? I came up with an idea. I didn't. God did. Write the first thing down. If any of you have been talking to me, that wasn't my original idea. That was a God talking to me. Write it down. As soon as you pick up a piece of paper and a pen, and it goes from inspiration to writing, you're in creation. You're in the creation phase. You brought it out of you and onto paper. That's called creation. Well, I had so many of them, and I had so many ideas. So I would write them down. I'd bullet point. And then about 3 years in, and I've told this story, I'm laying there, no friends, no nothing. I mean, I literally sat in a room, didn't do a whole lot. I wish I could say I prayed. I didn't. I would beg for mercy. I would see if I could lift my elbows. If I could lift my elbows, I was going to have a halfway decent day. No lifting, miserable day. So I'm sitting there one day and I hear this voice say, you're going to write. I said, I ain't writing. You're going to write. I said, I'm not writing. The voice finally says to me, and I learned this later. There's my higher power talking to me. You're going to write or you're not going to sleep. I said, what the heck? I was a cusser. I used to cuss and scream a lot. And I would say, all right. A poem called Soulmates came through me. You can read it in my book. Another poem came through me the next night. About 2 weeks later, get the paper, get the pad, it's time to write. 22 months later, 275 pages later, 105,694 words later, I dictated the book that you have in front of you now. I originally called it Your Inner Child Has Rights Too, because in the process of all of this, it was just easier for me to be nice to me if I imagined myself as a little boy, the inner child. As me imagining myself as me, that was not a nice thing. So I embraced that part. I felt those feelings, and I moved beyond that place, and eventually creation moves, and there's just enough where it's time to manifest.